Hey everybody, if you followed my previous content on this channel, this is going to look a little bit different, but I promise you it does tie into speed, sprinting, and fitness. So I'm going to talk about the X39 Lifewave patches. If you've heard about them, I feel like they're trending lately and kind of a silver bullet to fix everything. So I'm going to tell you about my experience, the good, the bad, and honestly, did it heal an injury that I've been trying to heal, a sprinting related injury. So I was first told about this from a doctor I didn't know super well. Maybe he's going to listen to this, but from what I know, he was pretty respectable and we run in the same circles, so I trusted him for the most part. And I'm in the health field, my wife's in the health field, so we are just interested in things that are maybe on the fringe, things that are not as mainstream, because I like to try these things out for myself. And if they work for me, I feel comfortable recommending to patients and clients and just the people that reach out to us about recommendations for their health. So with these patches, we just kind of gave the run through on them. And this is just the packaging, nothing. X39 Lifewave patches, they look like a Band-Aid kind of. And I'm naturally pretty skeptical. I'm just like, I don't know if it sounds too good to be true. It's probably too good to be true. And he was telling me all it does. And it does deal with stem cells. And I've seen stem cells work for some of my buddies, or like stem cell treatment. So I'm not like, oh, this is never gonna work. But I wanted to try it. And when he gave it to me, or I guess when I bought it, I put them on. I was going to wear them it was a 30-day pack. I was going to wear them for 30 days and see how it worked. But when I put them on, I was like, I don't even know what I'm trying to gain out of this, because when I started wearing them, I was dialed in on my sleep. I was dialed in on my nutrition, my exercise. Everything was actually feeling pretty darn good. But then I was like, well, I guess I do have some lingering hamstring and Achilles pain from just previous seasons. But I was rehabbing those pretty intensely prior to putting these on for about 3 months. So at this point, I had made progress in my Achilles and my hamstring, but they were just kind of stagnant at this point. And the rehabbing it was maintaining a function level of, I would say, about 85-90%. Like I could tell when I high speed sprinted, I'd be like, I couldn't really push it. Or if I did certain like single leg hops on my Achilles, that was pretty tough too. So when I was starting to wear these, I was continuing with my rehab. My rehab had made progress, but it kind of had a standstill. I was starting to wear these, and after 5 days, I was like, nothing. Like, this is silly. This is stupid. All the claims seemed too good to be true, and and I didn't expect this to work. I was actually like, I'm going to get a refund and everything, but then I was like, well, whatever really works in 5 days. Like, there's no quick fixes in life. Like, even though maybe this could be a quick fix for some people, for me, I was like, let's just keep wearing it, keep doing my thing. And it was pretty interesting. One morning I woke up and I was just like walking to the bathroom and I was like, oh, my Achilles isn't as tight. It's still tender to the touch, but it wasn't as painful walking, because if you have an injury in the first few steps, whatever it is, you kind of like, you feel the achiness. And this was one of the first days I was like, oh, I don't really feel the achiness. So I didn't think too much about it. And I just kind of kept going on. And probably about 14 days in, I was like, man, my pain is really going down. I haven't changed my rehab. I'm still rehabbing. I'm not just wearing the patch. But it was almost like maybe there is something to these patches, because with my rehab and wearing the patches, I could tell that my Achilles pain was decreasing. And so I kept wearing them. And then after like 20 days, 21 days, it was 22 days, I stopped wearing the patch. And I was like, okay, I thought my hamstring was about 95% after sprint workouts. I'd be like, okay, I can feel it ever so slightly, but that's probably the best it's felt in a long time since kind of tweaking it. And also my Achilles pain was nearly gone. So I was pretty impressed, and I was still kind of skeptical. I'm like, man, this is too good to be true. I've like held up the patches to the light, and I was like, it's supposed to be reflecting light. It's phototherapy. It's a form of phototherapy. I was like, I don't see anything reflective, but could be pretty microscopic. I'm not gonna knock on it. And also I like cut it open. I was like, all right, maybe I can see something if I cut open this patch. And the patch was like a piece of fabric. So I was like, it kind of escaped my mind where I'm like, this is weird. But I couldn't knock the fact that it worked for me. And even if it was a placebo effect, it was worth $120 to help my Achilles and my hamstring feel better for a placebo effect. I don't know if it's a placebo effect, but I don't even care. Like it worked. And from other testimonials, it seemed to work. I've been off of it and I've been seeing how does my body react once I'm off. And fortunately, I would say it's not like something like, oh, I've just reverted back to my previous form and I have these injuries again. So I've maintained function even off the patches. That is good. And so I feel more comfortable making some recommendations with these, but I went to the next step and I found about 5-6 of my friends that also are pretty accepting of these more nuanced technologies and health related things. And I said, hey, try these out, kind of sold it to them at cost. And it was like, hey, just pretty much broke even. And they were interested in it too. A handful of them, and they're like right around 30, 2 people in their 50 and 1 guy in his 70s. So trying to hit the spectrum of ages as well. And that's, the jury's still out on that. I don't know what they're going to say. I only gave them 1 month a pack for 1 month. They say you need to be wearing it for like 6 weeks to see progress or something about that on their website. I saw it, I'd say in about 10 days is when I initially started to feel something. And I documented like every single day. So if someone was really curious, they could ask me and I can say, hey, these are my daily journal entries of how I was feeling with the patch. And there'd be days be like, felt nothing. Oh, I'm a little bit better today. Again, it's not a light switch progress. And I also tracked my sleep. So that was really interesting too. Before, I have a Garmin watch that gives me pretty good data. 14 days before wearing the patches, 22 days on the patch, and 22 days off of the patch. And I calculated it, and an interesting aspect about that was I calculated deep and REM sleep as a percentage of my total sleep. So I really want to make sure when I am sleeping is a good deep and REM sleep. Surprisingly, I actually had those two values together. I slept more percentage before and after the patches, like 1% difference, so probably negligible. But when I was on the patch, I actually slept less total between those two, but a little bit more REM sleep. So I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. I had more REM sleep on the patch, even though it was like a little bit less overall. I think it was negligible. I don't think there's anything sleep related. I know that might help some people sleep. But my main thing was, did it help my Achilles tendinopathy and my hamstring tendinopathy? I was previously already rehabbing it, kind of hit a standstill on progress, continued my rehab with the patches, found improvements in it. So that turned me from a skeptic who was planning to get a refund on these to someone's like, I can't refund if it worked, to actually having other people that are kind of in my same boat who are willing to try these things, try it out. They're trying it, just started this, so they'll let me know in about 30 days. And if it doesn't, some of them are older, so it might take longer. If it doesn't, 30 days, I'll see if they want another pack for that second month. I will report back. I'm not selling any, so I'm not here to be like, oh, I'm selling, check out my link. If it works for these next 5 or 6 people that are trying them out, I'm happy to sell them. It's something that works. It worked for me. If it's a placebo effect that worked for me, sweet. Hopefully it's a placebo effect that works for you. But a lot of people would say it's definitely not a placebo effect. There's science to prove it. I'm not knocking that. Overall, it's been a pretty cool experience, and people are willing to invest a lot of different things in their health. This is super simple. It's a patch you put on. Almost too good to be true. That's what makes me a little weary. But the stories are very impressive online. I can't tell if they are good stories because they are incentivized by money to sell because they're a distributor. Be on the lookout. If you have questions, comment below. I'm happy to share my sleep data, have that on a spreadsheet, my daily journal entries of my health. And if you really do want to buy from me for whatever reason, I can sell, but I'm actually not really trying to do that right now. I want to hear from my friends before I go any further in this process, before I can recommend to other people confidently, knowing it is something that could make a difference. And I've seen a lot of stories. I trust the people that have recommended it to me. It just seems too good to be true, a little bizarre. I'm going on and on. Last thing is, I'm actually trying, not soon, probably in the next few months, the X39 supposedly helps with performance. I'd love to see if it actually can help me in my sprinting and my speed. So I'm going to wear that as I train for this next track season and as I compete unattached. Because if it can help there, that's kind of cool too. Last year I used some different supplements like beta-alanine and beet powder just to help with lactate threshold and just cardiorespiratory levels. So tried supplements. Well, I was like, supplements, patches, let's just try the gamut. Let's see what I can do to get better. So overall, trying to push myself. Happy with how things turned out. I'll keep you, if people have questions, let me know, and I'll keep you in the loop on how these have at least personally impacted me, for better or for worse. We out.